Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys football. We're continuing to take a look at some of the bigger and more intriguing week one games of the college football season. We're taking a look at the Louisville Cardinals as they go on the road to the Carrier Dome and play the Syracuse Orange. There's a bunch of really interesting storylines in play and also a pick that I kind of really like. We've been looking at a lot of games from more of a fan perspective. What we want to see from these bigger teams is they kind of have some cakewalk week one games. This is a good game, a tight spread at 4.5 in favor of Louisville, and we think we have some picks for you guys. Before that, just wanted to say thank you for all the support, both Louisville and Syracuse fans. You guys checked out our summer previews. You guys seem to like them, and the support you guys have shown to the channel means a lot. So if you do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel, whether you're a fan of Louisville, Syracuse, or just like talking ball. We really do appreciate all the support. Without further ado, let's start looking into this game. I think it starts with the Louisville Cardinals. I think this team can be really dangerous in the ACC with the amount of playmakers they have on both sides of the ball, but we're going to start on the offense with a dark horse of the ROC Boys as a Heisman contender in Malik Cunningham. It's hard to count out a quarterback like this who is one of the best athletes at the quarterback position, but also doesn't get enough credit for how good of a passer he is. Again, 9 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. He's accurate when he needs to be with the football. Threw for almost 3,000 yards. People do not give him enough credit for how much he can facilitate as a passer. We know about his legs. We know about the elite quickness and speed that he has, but he also gets it done from the pocket with his arm. And I think people don't realize that enough or respect that enough. And you look at what this Louisville offense wants to do. They want to establish the run. And you have 2 running backs who you feel really good about in Jalen Mitchell. And then the transfer from Tennessee, Tyon Evans. Both guys who've been very, very efficient in yards per carry. And I expect both guys to get a lot of work and be really productive. They're running behind a very good offensive line, led by one of the better offensive linemen in the country in Caleb Chandler. Did some NFL draft stuff for him over the summer. Very powerful dude. I like his game a lot, and I like their ability to kind of establish the run on the offense side of the ball. And you couple that with some playmakers on the outside that the national media isn't really paying enough attention to. D. Wiggins, a transfer from Miami, who has elite speed. He kind of had trouble catching the ball at Miami. But if you can get this kid the ball in space, he's going to be dangerous. Marshawn Ford's another guy who is, quite frankly, just a matchup nightmare. He's a freak athlete for his size. Linebackers can't keep up with him. Safeties aren't big enough to deal with him. He is hard to bring down after the catch. Then the transfer Tyler Hudson, who is kind of a big physical receiver from Arkansas State, who I think can kind of work the field vertically a little bit too. I like the playmakers on this offense side of the ball behind a really good offensive line. I think this Louisville offense is going to be good. And when you look about how they match up against this Syracuse defense, I actually like a lot about what this Syracuse defense brings to the table. I just think Louisville is a little bit more athletic, and I think they're faster on the perimeter than Syracuse, and I think they'll be able to work to their advantage. What I like more about this game, though, in Louisville's favor is just I'm nervous about Syracuse's ability to not be one-dimensional. Dino Babers is coming into a massive year. This guy a couple of years ago was being talked about as Florida State's potential new head coach, a rising star as a head coach, and now he's coaching for his job. And if Syracuse doesn't make a bowl game and win 6 games, I think he's probably out of Syracuse and they're looking for a new head coach. You look at Syracuse on offense, there's just outside of that run game with Sean Tucker and Garrett Schrader, there's not much that scares me. You look at how efficient they were throwing the ball in. Quite frankly, they weren't efficient. You look at guys who you look at that wide receiver room. They lose Tosh Harris to the transfer portal. Who are you nervous about that's going to hurt you? Courtney Jackson, their leading receiver, 389 yards. Their next leading receiver, Sean Tucker, with 255 yards. There's not a guy that I feel comfortable kind of betting on to be kind of an explosive playmaker through the air. And quite frankly, Garrett Schrader is not a quarterback who's really shown that he can make it happen through the air. Now, Syracuse is going to have to run the ball. They did it at a very high level last year. But when you fall into that scheme where you can't really throw the ball, it's really hard to have an explosive offense. Louisville knows Syracuse is going to try to run the ball. They're going to load the box. You're going to see a lot of 8, 9-man boxes, just daring Garrett Schrader to throw it over the top. Now, Sean Tucker, one of the best. He's another guy that I took a look at for the 2023 NFL draft this summer. Very, very special. Arguably, outside of Bijan Robinson, the best pure ball carrier in the country. Now, how well he can catch the ball, how well he can pass protect is up for question as an NFL draft prospect. Purely with the ball in his hands, this dude is straight up special. You combine that with a quarterback who can get it done on the ground in Garrett Schrader, the run game is going to be good. But again, I just worry that this Syracuse defense is going to be too one-dimensional. And you look at how that game played out at Louisville last year. Louisville whooped up on them 41-3. You look at the box score, Malik Cunningham only threw the ball, I think, 18 times for 4 touchdowns. He pretty much did whatever he wanted. They were able to establish the run with Jalen Mitchell. You look at Syracuse, Garrett Schrader didn't even throw for over 50 yards that game. Sean Tucker was able to get, I think, just under 100 yards on 19 carries. Not very efficient, though. You know what I mean? You give Sean Tucker the ball 20 times, you might get 100 yards, but you only amass 3 points from that. I don't know if Syracuse got much better this year. Louisville, on the other hand, I think had some really strong additions through the transfer portal, adding to their depth on the defensive line, adding to their linebacker depth with the Ole Miss transfer. The score was 41-3 last year, less than a year ago. You look at where these teams stand now, I think Louisville is still the better team. I think they got better. And so will Louisville beat them 41-3 again? Probably not. But when it comes to looking at the spread, I really do like Louisville to cover under a touchdown at 4.5 points. I think there's some value there. You're getting a little road dog value as Louisville going to Syracuse, going to the Carrier Dome. It is a hard place to play. I've seen a lot of games being from Rochester at the Carrier Dome. I just don't know if Syracuse fans are really up for this season after how bad it's looked for the last couple of years. Now, if they are, it'll be a hard place to play, but I'm still going with the team that has better talent, and that's the Louisville Cardinals. I think they're more explosive offense. I think they have better. I wouldn't know if I'd go as far as saying they have better talent on the defense because I really do like Syracuse's defense. When it comes to which team I think will score more points, it's definitely the Louisville Cardinals. I think they'll score more than 4.5 points than Syracuse does. I have Louisville to cover it. That's a pick I'm giving out. I really do feel good about that. So if you guys are looking for a little value, I think Louisville to cover 4.5. Week 1, they have a lot of returning starters on both sides of the football. There's a lot of buzz around the Louisville program. Scott Satterfield, obviously, on the hot seat, seemingly off the hot seat now with how well he's been at doing on the recruiting trail. I like Louisville in this spot. I'm not very high on the Syracuse Orange, although I do love Sean Tucker. I do love me some Sean Tucker. I think Louisville covers 4.5. That's a review on this game. Again, let us know in the comment section what you guys think. Again, we're trying to find winners out here. Let's get some football talk in the comment section. We appreciate you guys checking us out again. If you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.